Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. We are drafting the all 26 and under team. Lot of young talent, coach. Let's talk ball.
85-mile-an-hour knuckleball. You saw that guy.
Oh, who did that? George Kirby. George Kirby.
No, some guy, some other guy.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball, presented by the other guys. Jake Storielli, Trevor Plouffe, Rob Scirocco producing. January 15th, less than a month till pitchers and catchers as we head into the season. And there's, signings, trades, little more quiet on the Western Front. But the good news is there's a lot of young talent in baseball. Everyone loves a draft and saying, oh my God, how did Trev take that guy? So I'm excited to get into it. And I think the best news for us, coach, is our guy Dalton Feely, Talkin Baseball researcher, happy birthday yesterday.
Yes.
He gave us a list of the young dudes in MLB, and it's good news for the sport, coach. How are you?
That's one of the things we definitely wanted to say before we started this was, holy shnikey, there are some young players who are studs here. Shout out Kenny Serwa, who is the guy throwing like 87-mile-an-hour knuckleballs. He also throws like 95. Like
okay.
The Rays are going to draft him.
Yeah.
Is he signed? I'm not really sure. He's nasty.
How you
He's got
spelling
good mechanics
Serwa?
too. Serwa. That is my nightmare.
Is that your
right
first
there.
pick?
It might be. How old is he? I don't really know.
Seems young.
You know I like the young guys.
Yeah.
Everything's good though, Coach. Back in Magna Condom Studios.
Good.
As you can see, spent the weekend / a part of last week in Arizona. I went to the Rams game on Monday night, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Coach. They put the whooping.
Sure did.
On those Vikings. Sorry to all my Twins and Minnesota fans, but that was a great game. But I'm back, ready to talk some ball. And I think I have a strategy for today.
Okay.
I think people are going to be a little shocked with my first pick. But it's going to be good because this is a chance for us to all sit back and just be like, okay, like we have a very bright future here in Major League Baseball.
And I think for the people that are with us to see us, kind of put it out there during the regular season. Oh, CJ Abrams is a dog. I love Ellie. This is you and me putting our GM hat on a little bit. And I don't know, are you getting the best players available? Are you building a team identity here? I don't know what spoilers I should have.
Oh, I mean,
just hot boys.
I love my Latinos, so just keep that in mind.
Okay.
But I think some ground rules will be good to cover. We can only pick one per position.
Yes.
So, we talked about this, of the shortstops. I mean, there's Ellie, there's Bobby, there's Gunnar. If you want to throw your guy Volpe in there, like there are some guys.
I can't put Zach Neto at second base. The shortstops have to be shortstops. We do have a util position, so that'll kind of be the best of the rest. And that's just a little easier than picking a young DH. So that'll give you the full lineup. And outfield, we're going to be a little loose with. I mean, put together an outfield. I'd like to see a center fielder there, kind of the all JM rules. But otherwise, I think the other thing that people need to know is you need to be 26 as of opening day. So there's a couple potential guys who may turn 27 during the season. But I also, part of what I love about this exercise, Coach Trev, is, it's cool to see. I don't want to give away, any draft picks, but, you see some young guys that you're like, yeah, James Wood, how good is he going to be? Jackson Chiriot, could see him drafted in this draft. And it's like, all right, young talent, awesome. And then you see like Vladdy and Soto, and it's like, what? I've seen these guys, I've seen them play for half a decade, and they're still getting lumped in with some of the young talent, which, the Vladdy hype train this year is going to be gone, and we just saw Soto get $800 million, basically. So that's always a cool reminder to see, like, wait, those guys get lumped with these guys? That's nuts.
I looked at here, and I mean, we talked about this, I think, last episode. Ellie De La Cruz is 23 years old. A lot of the guys that are coming up that are these prospects, and we're looking, oh, they're going to be good. Like he's already done it.
Yes. Like Ellie De La Cruz could be on this team for the next 3 years. If he gets drafted,
maybe not, Ellie.
Get in my util spot. Trev, I'm a man of honor, and I hate hearing you complain midway through. So I'll give you the first pick in the draft. We'll just go every other. We don't need to double down and snake it. I think it's just mono a mono here. And Trevor Plouffe, you have the first pick of all the kids in base. No contracts. You get to build a team around a ball player. Oh.
And it's just for 1 year. So, yeah, years of control. Money doesn't matter. But I told you, Coach. First of all, I appreciate you giving me the first pick.
Yeah.
It helps me out. I have a strategy.
Okay.
I'm kind of convinced, after doing a little research here and looking at the sheet that our wonderful Dalton Feely has prepared for us, that there's one position where I feel like there's a guy that's head and shoulders, not head and shoulders, but kind of head and shoulders above everybody. He's a guy we just talked about. For my first overall pick at first base, I am taking that big, bad man. Don't know if his hair is long or short right now. I think it's short. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now, obviously, coming off an incredible year, an incredible first 5 years of his big league time here. He turns 26 on March 16th. So he almost could sneak in here for another year. This will be his last year that he's eligible for this team. But if you look around like the other guys at first base, it is like Tristan Casas. I think he's going to be a dog. Spencer Torkelson, Colt Keith, Kobe Mayo. There are guys there. But I think Vladdy has been there, done that, proven hitter. So I just wanted to get him on my team right away because I think some of these other positions, obviously there's, Bobby Witt, number 1 overall pick. That's great, but there's still other guys at that position. I'm taking Vladdy Jr. with my number 1 overall pick, putting him at first base and saying, hey, Poppy, go hit me 50 this year.
I'm not
That's
sure.
how I talk to my players.
Yeah, I like that. I like that coaching. I like that empowerment.
Yeah.
You know what, Vlad? 30 last year was nice. Give me 20 more. Trev, I love it. And people are probably surprised when you think of all the young talent in the game, and maybe people are thinking about franchise building or whatever, but it's also positional depth, which you and I have a chance to look at. And like those names you mentioned, like, hey, I hope CES, Christian Encarnacion Strand, bounces back for my Reds this year.
I think I know who you're going to go with at first base, but again, that was kind of the one outlier that I saw amongst the positions here. So I'm glad I got him. I'm glad I got him on my team. Plus, hey, I know this doesn't really count for our exercise, but it is a walk year. Let's go. If you're in Toronto, is Sasaki coming to your team? Probably not. But you got Vladdy.
Hey, they're still in the mix, man.
They're still in the mix.
Why not? Maybe he's a Vladdy guy.
Do you know there's that one meme of like the guys on the podium and the guy's like spraying himself in champagne, but he's like in third place?
Yeah. Oh, Trev. See, I'm not in a good enough standing with Toronto fans to say that. So, okay, you've put me in an interesting spot, Coach.
Yeah.
Because you're right, and people at home, some of you have probably picked up with this, but again, I'll probably wait on first base now, because there's a guy that I think is the next pick there, that you probably wouldn't take for util, but we'll see. It's tough because there's 2 ways I want to go with this, and if I give you those, you know what, Trev, I'm gonna be real. That's all I got. That's all I got in this world. I think there's a guy that stands out head and shoulders. And I feel like you're not going to like this. We're doing one starting pitcher.
Yeah, I know who you're going with.
I'm going Skeens, man. Like, I think it's just real. Like, There's other pitchers that, again, I will name because they will not end up in my util spot. But, I'm seeing Crochet on here, Hunter Green, Jared Jones, Yamamoto made the list. Yuri Perez, haven't thought about him too much this offseason.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's a ton of young, talented pitchers. Every time I look at Skeen's stat page this offseason, 23 starts, a 196. He had 6 WAR in what felt like.
Did he really?
2/3 of a season. Yes, dude. 170 strikeouts in 133 innings. A whip that started at 0. Like, he is just whatever I'm going to get at other positions. I'm not going to get Paul Skeens. So, it's weird because, again, if we were doing this exercise more full, are we doing 3 starting pitchers? Are we doing relievers? Whatever. Who cares? Give me Paul Skeens. I'm blown away by him, and he's gonna he's not gonna change the sport, but there's people in our social media department that when they're on and working in MLB night, they're like, they're watching every game. Like they have some of the best knowledge at our company. And there's people that are like, he's the best pitcher I've ever seen. So I will take that.
I've tried not to get too high on Paul Skeens just because I honestly don't know why. I don't know if it's like I didn't want to jump on the bandwagon. I didn't want to do this, do that. I've seen pitchers come up and just absolutely dominate and then kind of fizz out.
Yes.
The more I watched him this year, I think the more I realized, and not even just watching him pitch, because again, I've seen it happen on the field. But the more I read about him and like listened to him off the field and about his preparation and like his mindset, he has the intangibles to go along with the electric stuff as well. Like he wants to be the best pitcher in baseball, and everyone can say that, and guys can think that, but to put the work in to be able to be that it's a different story. So he was, Jake, just so you know, in consideration for my number 1 overall pick, because I do believe he is of that group of pitchers, and we're talking about Garrett Crochet, we're talking about all these guys that have come up and done it. I think Skeens is by far the best pitcher on this list, so I'm happy that you went there. That shows that you know ball a little bit. Pop.
He might be the best pitcher in baseball. And Trev, I get everything you're saying. Like there's something, we have a microphone that we're lucky that people tune in and subscribe to. Thanks everyone on the YouTube. That like we want to be careful. He's in his heart, he's a kid. Like I know if I'm next to Paul Skeen, I look like the kid, and that's fine. But he's 22, and like, yes, he's got the famous curl, and the stuff is there that you want to be timid about it. But he finished 3rd in the Cy Young with 133 innings. Like it's when you really look back at it, it's special, and it's why we end up getting angry at the Pirates, I'd say, every other week. Because what are we doing, Pittsburgh?
This is gonna sound a little silly. I don't really like lumping up like his love life into baseball talk, but I do think this is actually pertinent, to his future success. Is he's got like the it girl for his generation, right? Like she's like the it girl, but I feel like, and maybe
excited
I'm wrong,
for this.
I feel like baseball is still his number 1, dude. And a lot of guys, when you're young and you get the it girl, like she becomes like the thing that you're fixated on. Like think about when you were young and like, it just his mental game is so good.
Yeah,
like, I know it sounds like a joke, but I'm being serious. Like he is so focused,
right?
That I think that is what gives him, like a leg up on everybody else. Not just the talent, but the way that he's mentally prepared. I even heard a Livy Dunn quote saying, she goes, "I've never met someone that thinks like Paul, or like whose brain works like his." And like I think that's just another instance of basically someone saying or seeing that he is mentally driven like that, like wants to be the best. So
little talking baseball dating show. I think you're right. I think I think it's
Is
really
that weird to say?
No,
I don't know.
I think it's really cool that like she is dealing with a level of fame. Like she is an athlete with a level of success. Like there's a lot of cool overlap stuff there. And yeah, I think the it girl argument becomes interesting because like I think football would be like Travis and Taylor right now. Like they've got a whole, I mean that's a whole different world. You know, baseball's got some good I mean Verlander to Upton. People forget Matt Kemp and Rihanna.
Oh yeah,
Hello.
that was big for baseball.
I mean, that was huge. That was the biggest thing to happen to baseball since the pitch clock. Trev, let's get your second pick in the draft. And speaking of draft, how about DraftKings? Football fans, it's playoff time. Coach was there this weekend. And there are some exciting games this weekend, arguably the best weekend of football of the year. And get in on the playoff action right now with our partners at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, all new customers, $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5 when you use code TALKIN. Love the thrill of live betting. DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code TALKIN. Bet just $5 on any wager, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code TALKIN only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Crown is yours. Okay, Vladito Skeens is off the board, which makes me think you'll wait on your starting picture, which was the other side of my kind of risk analysis, but I wanted the guy. Where will you go next, Coach?
So, people who watch the show know that give me the youngs.
Yeah.
Like me a young baseball player. Now, I know technically all these guys are young, but for this exercise, the next guy that I'm going to pick, he's an old.
You just say that for every pick. I love these youngs.
He's an old head.
Yeah.
I'm going old early is what's happening here. I think there is another guy that kind of stands out above everybody else.
Wow.
He is a generational hitter. I think that is the one term that a lot of people have used to describe this guy. He turns 27 October 25th of 2025, so this will be his last year. Jake, there's only been 2 years where this guy has struck out more than he's walked. Only been 2 years. That was his first 2 years of ball, 2018, 2019. Every year after that, he's walked more than he's struck out. He hit 41, 109 runs driven in, MVP 3, 800 mil in the bag. So he could take me out to dinner. I'm the owner of this team. He could take me out to dinner. I'm going Juan Soto with my first pick in the outfield. I just think, look, what is there to say that hasn't been said about Juan Soto? He's a guy that you want up there with the game on the line. He's going to give you a great at bat. I think he changes the way that your organization will think about hitting. You get him in the box, people just watching him up close and personal, whether it's his work, before the game or just watching him, how he takes at bats, how he approaches them. I think it rubs off on other people. I need that with my young guys on this team. The rest of my team I'm going to draft. Juan Soto, I think, again, I'm going for that. Is there somebody that's put himself, above the rest of the group? Even though these guys are all really good ball players, Juan Soto, I think, has done that. I mean, career-wise, we're talking 953 OPS, 421 OBP. It gets me going when I see that. It gets me going. So, Juan Soto, welcome to my team.
Trev, I'm a little proud of you, and I'm a little scared because those are the two most bona fide dudes on this list for obvious reasons. Yeah, I mean, if I want to get petty at the end, I'll be like, oh, I don't know, Trev, your defense, but I don't care. Vladdy and Soto.
Is that what you might have to start going defense first?
I'm gonna have to build a team. I'll tell you that much. I'm gonna have to build a team, and I will. Yeah, I mean, Soto and Vladdy. For the rest of the names picked on this list, there's potential and there's upside that guys maybe spoken like them, but these are guys that have now done it for 4 or 5 years. That was the risk with Skeens. But I wanted my guy, and you have that righty-lefty combo, Trev. Whew.
Here's the thing, though.
Right.
I love the guys I've picked.
Right.
Like, Skeens probably wins the matchup.
That's the thing with pitchers, right?
That's the thing with pitchers.
That's
Robbie, can we get numbers between those two
Ooh,
hitters and
okay.
Skeens if they faced each other. I don't know if they. Well, Skeens he pitched against the Yankees, didn't he?
Yeah. Kind of. It was like end of the year. He did like 2 innings.
There's 3 guys you're picking from.
Yeah, I think I can
Like,
be open about it because it's
no offense to Anthony Volpe, Abrams, Tovar, Mason Wynn, Zach Neto.
there
Like,
can
you guys are absolute studs. Quick story, saw Mookie at the game
oh
in Arizona. He's 2 suites over. He's sitting with Aaron Donald, and I was like gonna like have someone go say, "Hey, like go tell him that Trevor Plouffe says hi." Because sometimes I don't know.
right.
I'm a generic white guy. Like,
Yes.
does he
Take
remember
time.
me that well? He looked over. We locked eyes. We said, "What's up?" I saw him outside, and I mentioned to him, I said, "Bro, I have so much respect for you already, but the fact that you're playing middle infield is
Nice.
insane." He started laughing, man. Like,
Nice.
it is the shortstop position to be able to be good at it in the big leagues, I think is the most impressive thing that anyone can do in the sport of baseball. So these guys I just mentioned, you guys are studs, but there's 3. There's Gunnar, there's Bobby, and there's Ellie.
And I think, man, I was a lot more confident a second ago. Um, man, I'm gonna go Bobby Witt Jr. Um, I he won the batting title last year. Again, when you're splitting hairs between those guys, I mean, Bobby Witt finished second in the MVP to Judge. Gunnar finished fourth. So, like, if you're there, we talked about how hype we're going to be for Ellie this upcoming season. I just think all around, it's kind of rude to Gunnar. He's got that sweet lefty swing and everything's beautiful. Does it not feel like Bobby's just like a half point better at everything than Gunnar? Like he's just a little faster. His defense plays a little more. Maybe his natural pop, Gunnar might have him there a little bit. But again, all these guys are wins. I'm taking Bobby Witt Jr.
I think it's a great pick. I'm not even sure who I would. I knew that you were probably gonna go there, and my strategy was to wait to see who you didn't pick because that
Mm,
is a very difficult decision. In my head, I almost thought, like, I'd probably go Ellie because, like, there's just some sort of, like, dynamic that he brings, and,
sure.
apparently I'm just going all Latinos.
Mm,
Um, but statistically, like, Bobby, yeah, he's a tick above those other 2 guys this year. So I love the pick. You cannot go wrong. And now you've put me in a pickle because now I got to pick between Gunnar and Ellie. And I thought Ellie was going to be my guy, but now that I'm looking, like, I mean, gosh, Gunnar is.
not bad.
How many times have I said on the show, Gunner's like who I'd want to be like as
I
a baseball player?
don't know how many times you said that.
Trey Turner,
Yeah.
Gunnar, Bobby Witt. I see myself in those guys.
Yeah.
I don't see myself in those guys. I want
I
to be
wish I
like
saw myself in those
yeah,
guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, Pop. Okay. Um, 2 great picks. Are we going whites versus Latinos? Is that what's happening right here?
That's what this show always comes down to.
Okay. This gets really, really interesting here. Because I think I'm gonna stay in the outfield because I think that
Ooh.
getting 3 dudes, you have to be able to pick the guys that you want. Um, I'm a moxie guy, if you know, right? Like,
Yeah.
I love a guy that brings the energy. I even like guys that I like when guys don't know how good they are.
Ooh.
And then you start to see them figure out, "Oh, I am that good." That is a pivotal moment in a baseball player's career, probably any athlete's career, or any person's life, when you start to realize, "I am who I think I am." Sometimes it doesn't happen,
Oh.
for people. There are many times when I was a player where I was like, "I don't think I am who I think I am." It's hard. You lose a lot in baseball, especially on the offensive side of the ball. This guy, I think I saw him this year really. Gosh, now I'm rethinking.
Okay.
I'll let you in my mind. I'm thinking Jackson Merrill right here.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
For those reasons, I saw him kind of, he gets to the big leagues. What can I do? By the end of the year, you saw him prancing out to center field in San Diego, and he just knew, I am that guy.
Yeah.
And to me, that means a lot. Problem with that is there's a guy that I truly believe in. His name is Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah, his teammate. I was gonna say.
His teammate.
And with the rest of the guys you got, I mean, my goodness.
Tatis, I don't know if it's the injury thing. Like he still hasn't put up those pre-injury, you know what numbers.
Yeah.
Gosh, this is tough. I had it locked in Jackson Merrill, and now I'm rethinking my choice. I think I'm going Nando. I think I'm going
I
Nando.
think that's the
You
move.
told me I needed defense. Not that Jackson Merrill can't play defense, but we got a platinum glover out there in right field. Juan Soto, you're playing left field. Maybe I'd put Nando in center. I don't know. I believe in this guy's talent. And how could you not? You watch
Yeah.
him play. I've said this many times in the show. I get a lot of hate from San Diego fans because of it. I want to see those pre-injury / pre-suspension numbers come back. You got to go back to that time when he came up, how electric he was. He was the guy in the sport. It was so impressive to watch. He has all the tools, and then talk about mental intangibles. Like, do you think that guy doesn't believe in himself?
Yeah.
He's dancing in front of the bleachers at Dodger Stadium. His numbers against the Dodgers are crazy. I'm taking Fernando Tatis Jr. on my team. Again, he's kind of one of the olds here.
A
Turned
little
26
bit.
on January 2nd.
A little bit.
I'm taking Tatis to go with Soto in my outfield.
I think it's the right pick. The postseason was insane. I remember when there was a couple moments where he was like, I'm not getting out, and I'm probably going to hit it out. Like, if you keep me in the park, that's a win for you. Okay, Trev, it's good. It's good. My team's going to have to be built a little different, and that's fine. That's how I've gotten through life. I think I'm actually going to D-bag crew you here. I think I'm going to use my util for Gunnar Henderson. Yeah, I think.
I thought we were waiting till the end to do that. Okay, I'll let you do it.
See, this is where it happens, but I'm doing it. I can't have Gunnar end up on your team at this point. I need the lefty-righty action of him and Bobby. Okay, now I am worried my team's getting a little too white, and I will address that in later rounds.
Because you know I'm taking Albie.
I will address that in later rounds. But yeah, I think he's the best player on the board. I think the rest of the way, there's a lot of nice young ball players that we're going to highlight, but a 9-WAR season, to have that in your bag at the major league level, that's what he did last year. That's my righty lefty combo, and that's currently the only way I can fight the fire that you're putting together on your squad.
That's a little bit of a loophole, right?
I'm a gamer. Coach. I'm a gamer. If that's what you're saying.
I thought we talked about this before, that we had to go through, and then the leftovers got util just like we do in all JM. But I'm gonna let it slide.
Good.
I'm gonna let it slide. Now we're at, I think, a precarious state here.
The names change a little bit.
I almost want to start, or excuse me, end my outfield.
Just get it over. I haven't
drafted an outfielder yet.
Sometimes when teams talk about their general managers, like, I think that's what happens. They're like, I just got to get the outfield done, and then I'll figure out everything else. Yeah.
I think there are some huge names in the outfield still, and you got to get 3 of them. If I take the first 3 outfielders off the board, and all of a sudden you're picking from the bottom.
Say something about Wyatt Langford. He had a great year.
You don't want to match Wyatt up against. I do like those forearms.
He had a great end of the year. Watch out.
I know he did. He had a great start to the year too. Wasn't he like a spring training god too?
I think he was spring training god. Kind of faded hard. Got better as he went.
I think I am going to do that. I was going to go to a different position. Let me just fill out this outfield. I have the olds. I need the young. I need the young, dynamic dude. And I think he got lost in the shuffle this year. Of all the Jacksons, I think he ended up number 2, because Jackson Holiday did not, he didn't do his thing this year.
Yes.
Or last year. That's okay. But Jackson Merrill got a ton of hype I think I don't really know why. Like the Brewers were good too. They won
Right.
the division. For some reason, Jackson Trio, maybe it was because he started off slow.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think that might have been what it was. April was not his friend, but I think from like what was the date? There was like a date, May something. He was just incredible. Um, I'm taking Jackson Trio. I'm pairing him alongside. I mean, maybe I will go all Latino team because this is shaping up to be
Kind of
quite the
making me look
spectacle.
bad, right? And that's okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do this. I'm just trying to pick my guys,
Yeah.
man. So I will end my outfield with Jackson Trio, who turns 21, 21 people on March 11th of this year. Um, Ended up last year with a 3.9 WAR, 791 OPS. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know what else there is to say. He was the best player on the Brewers, a
Mm.
team that has some pretty dang good players. When Yelly went out, he really stepped up. So I'm taking this guy to round out my outfield, and I think I got it right.
I love that for you. I'm glad you think you got that right. Talk
God,
yourself. So wait, which
Jackson Merrill, I'm
Jackson?
sorry, dude.
I was gonna say you were Jackson Merrill a pick ago, and then you just
I don't.
talked yourself into two outfield. That was the NL outfield all last year, bro. That we
Yeah.
just ran laps around it. So your outfield's done.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna wait. That's the good news. The only problem is the positions I'm looking at. There's one guy I want for weird reasons that I was trying to pocket him, that I still think I'm going to try to pocket him because I don't think you're going to take him. A couple of these positions are weird, man. Third base, second base, catcher. No, I want to take my weird guy there because it ties into my team strategy. I think I'm going to go with staying in the infield because I can wait in the outfield. Ugh. You know what? You're going to think this is a jab at you, but I think he's the best player at the positions I'm looking at because I'm looking at catcher, first base, second base, and third base. The infield minus shortstop, I could have said. And I'm not even sure this guy's going to be playing this position next year. I think he is. I think Mark Vientos is the best player at those positions left on the board.
Okay.
I'm going to put out of the park Mark at third base. I think him and your boy Royce have similar arguments, and there's a couple other bodies on there. Second base, it feels like a pile of a lot of similarity. Catcher, a little bit of the same there. That Mark Vientos, the way, we ended up laughing. People wanted him on the all JM team. And we were like, yeah, we wish the Mets played him a little more. He had 27 homers in 111 games, an 837 OPS. And then he came in and he mauled in the postseason. He had a 998 OPS in the postseason. So I will take Mark Vientos, and I'll put him as my third baseman.
He's another guy that, similar to Jackson Merrill, you could just tell that the light bulb or the confidence changed.
Yes.
He realized, I'm a dude, and I'm gonna be a dude, and that just changes everything with your preparation, your mindset when you're able to truly believe that, not fake it, because that's what you have to do. You have to fake it, and then all of a sudden it becomes a reality. You start to relax a little bit. A game slows down a little bit, and I think we saw that with Vientos. Game was slowing down for him. It's a good pick. That was probably going to be. I have a couple guys who I'm choosing from. He was one of them. So that's good.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
So I can wait on shortstop, third base, starting pitcher. I think I got to go second base here, and this is actually an interesting discussion here.
I'm excited to see where you go because I talked myself in and out of guys.
I think there's three guys here. With all due respect to our guy Jackson Holiday, I think he's going to be something special. Didn't show it last year. I want to see it before I put it on my team. I think you can go with the guy that probably had the best year overall, and that's Luis Garcia Jr. You can also go with like a guy that I love watching play in Bryce Terang, who is, a defensive wizard, kind of does. He's just a ball player. He's one of those guys where a coach would say, give me 9 Bryce Terangs and I'll beat you.
Nice.
Right?
You know who says that? The Brewers coach.
Yeah.
Pat Murphy.
The front office.
Yes. The whole org.
Yeah. And then I think there's Matt McLain.
Yeah.
Who
Interesting.
I truly, truly believe in. I see a little Brian Dozier in Matt McLain, kind of like a leader type, shorter stature guy, big forearms, can hit homers. So those are the 3 that I'm thinking. And man, it gets I think I have it. It's Luis Garcia Jr. or Matt McLain for me. I'm going to leave Bryce Terang out on this one. And then it just goes to really, I think about what are the people on social media going to say about my team? Oh boy. I think this guy has more potential to be like really, really good. So I'm going to go with Matt McLain as my second baseman over Luis Garcia Jr.,
Wow.
over Bryce Terang. Don't forget about what this guy did on the field before he got hurt. He's going to come back. I think he's going to be the same player. I think he, when you take a year off the way he did, it just lights a fire under you. So I think he's going to be healthy. I think he's going to come into this year. I think the Reds, maybe we say this every single year, I think they're a sneaky, sneaky ass team in 2025. They got some players there, and this guy's going to be right in the thick of it. I think he is. They talk about like the leadership, the void that Jonathan India has left there. I think this guy's could easily fill that. Give me Matt McLain. Put him at second base for me. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, the second base, you laid it out really well, Trev. I was interested to see where you land the ship on it. I think Matt McLain has the most upside, and we'll see. Shoulder injuries can be a little tricky in baseball sometimes, or maybe even just finding his groove after missing a season. But you, now thinking about the graphic, might be kind of a Cincinnati up the middle for you. Yeah. How about that?
I thought about that.
Winning that Reds vote over.
I mean, 2023 again. Look, injuries, missed all last year. Hit 290, 357 OBP. He slugged 507.
Yeah,
like, this is coming from your second baseman, dude. In 89 games, he hit 16 jacks. I'm banking on that to come back.
I was the little guy screaming. Everyone wanted Ellie to go to the All-Star game that year, and I was like, "Man, McLean's been better than him. Why aren't we doing that?" Everyone's like, "Shut up, you little white guy." Hey, a lot of these guys are going to be big factors in next season, Trev. And if you're ready to optimize your nutrition this year, Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well and easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat up and eat in 2 minutes so you can fuel right and great no matter what life throws at you. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for an active, busy lifestyle. Off the page here, been huge around the office. Factor sends us some. John Bino, big Factor guy. You know why? Because it's 2 minutes. he's going.
He's efficient.
He's nothing but. Throw it in the microwave. They've got a ton of different options. 40 options across 8 dietary preferences each week. Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, whatever you're looking for. They also have smoothie, breakfast, grab and go. Factor. If you're looking for the solution, Factor might be the one for you. Get started at factormeals.com/talkin50off and use code talkin50off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code talkin50off at factormeals.com/talkin50off. Free shipping, 50% off your first box. Yeah, if you're on the go, looking to get it done, Factor, they're the people. All right, Coach, we've done a lot of process of elimination, position by position a little bit here. That actually one position hasn't been taken. I'm between two guys.
I know who you're between, too.
Classic. Who do you think I'm between? I'm curious.
I think you're between Yainer Diaz and Francisco Alvarez.
So you get half credit. Yiner is the one that has momentum in my brain right now, just because the hitting from that position is so tough to match. 3.2 WAR the past 2 years. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another gear in him offensively. The one who's second in my head that I planned on getting out of this draft. Well, I've got catchers on my 2 favorite teams here, the Yankees and the Snakes. Gabby Moreno, man.
I was going to say, I should have said Gabby. Snakes.
I'm a Moreno hive. I go back to that season where when he was playing, the Snakes were winning. They went to the World Series. He mashes lefties. Sure, he's a little down on righties, but he kind of has a signature. With all of that being said, oh my God, I think I have another option coming out of the clubhouse. No, I'm going to take Yiner. This team needs a little more pop. Yiner Diaz is going to be in the middle of the Houston Astros lineup this year. For what you can bank on compared to these other guys, I think he has the most you can bank on. That I will go with Yiner Diaz.
It's a good pick. I think there are actually 3 or 4 good choices here. Depends on what you're looking for. Do you want offensive first catcher? Do you want a defensive specialist? And I think that is one thing about the catching position that's unique. I think teams lean into one. Like most teams decide, I want to do this. Most of them, I feel like, let's go defense.
Well, how many are forced to go that way? Because to find a good offensive catcher, it just doesn't happen.
So true. Yeah. I think my lean, if I was an actual GM, I'll find my offense another place. I want someone that can handle the run game. I know a lot of that falls on the pitchers and being able to do that. Let me just break this down.
Okay.
Real quick.
Perfect.
If I'm a GM, one of the first things we're doing is learning how to hold runners on.
Nice.
Because we're worried about stop and slug, and we're positioning our outfielders to stop extra base hits. You stop extra base hits, keep them off first base, bro. Too many pitchers do not focus on holding runners. I'll just strike this guy out. I don't know. You won't, dude. You know what they say? Those guys drive nice cars too.
Yeah.
Relax a little bit. Hold a freaking runner on. Oh, it's going to take away from my pitches, though. No, it's not. It's before you start pitching. You're not pitching yet. Hold the freaking runner on. Learn how to use your looks. Get a good move. If you're a lefty, no one should ever steal on you. That's my rant. That's my rant. Have a hanging move. Not that hard. It is not that hard.
The lefty thing is crazy.
It's crazy to me.
Trev, I think with that pick, I don't think you and I have any positions we can't overlap on. So maybe we hit the accelerator just a little bit.
Yes. You were spot on about my shortstop position. I wanted the tandem that's going to work together, familiar with each other, and obviously he is the best shortstop left on the board. I will go with Ellie De La Cruz. Gosh, C. Rose posed a question. Posed. What freak am I doing right now?
Okay.
And I forget what it was. It was something like, does Ellie have a chance? Who has a better chance to win the MVP in the NL if not Shohei? And it was somebody and somebody. And I didn't really think about Ellie. And then I went back and looked at the season that he had. I knew he played well, but he graded out great everywhere, coach. This guy can play defense. This guy can run the bases. This guy can hit. He can hit with power. He can do it all. So, Ellie, you're my guy, short. Go ahead. Do your thing.
That's good.
That's an easy one.
Trev, I'm in an interesting spot because I have the whole outfield. So I really get to mastermind this with, what do I want? Do I want defense? Do I want offense? I think the guy that stands out the most to me, and I'll just deep dive on him for now. I think I'm going to go with Riley Green. Riley Green was a top prospect. You talk about the light bulb going on. He had a 5.5 WAR season last year, all-star year, 137 games, 827 OPS. I'm excited to see it for a full season next year. He's a part of the reason the Tigers did what they did last year. That I think, again, reliable players go, I think Riley Green is where I'm starting.
Do you want to just pick your outfield? Do you want
Yeah,
me to
I guess
go?
so. No, I guess that we're there because I'm still missing first, two, and second. But
I got to see Riley. I got to see Riley play quite a bit last year. Called some games. He's electric. Like I think a lot of times there are hype around guys on teams that like people try to manufacture the hype a little bit. He's real deal.
He is the real deal. I think I have two more spots for three guys, and I'll just lay it out openly for the people. I am between Jackson Merrill, who you you skipped over a couple times at the end there, Corbin Carroll on the board, who a massive second half, the year-end numbers, not as great as they could be, but also still good. And then Julio Rodriguez
I was
is
gonna
just
say that's
staring
crazy
at me,
that he has
man.
not even been brought up yet. But he did not have a good year last year.
No, and it's weird. Like, in theory, Julio has taken a step back. Each
Okay,
of his
he had a
three
good
seasons.
year, not a Julio year.
He had a good year, not what we expect from Julio. That being said, I mean, everything I've said about Seattle, that if I'm putting Julio Rodriguez on this team, I think that feels a little bit different. You know what, man? We can't do that. I'm going to take Julio. He's Julio Rodriguez, right? Like, we all see it. There was some Insta posts this weekend. His trapezius muscle was, it wasn't Adolis Garcia, but for who Julio is like, okay, there's something in there. Give me Julio. His bad season where I'm being ho-hum about was 4 WAR as a 23-year-old. Like, Julio's got more in there. I'd love to see him with a little more help, too. But yeah, I'll throw Julio in center, Riley Green in the corner, and let's pair him up with, Jackson Merrill or Corbin Carroll. Kill me. I don't. Oh, no. Jackson Merrill. I'm going to look at the stats one more time, and they're going to be convincing because he was so good. He slugged 5 bills. Give me Corbin Carroll.
Wow.
I think there's just a little more upside in Corbin. And he showed it in the second half, man. I mean, how many times in baseball do you see guys get off to a slow start or their swings in a little bit of a funk? The fact that he was able to recover, that he finished last year down the stretch in the second half, so not even down the stretch, 259, 351, a 568 slugging, a 919 OPS for a guy that has some of the best speed in baseball. I think power-wise, he can do what Jackson does. I think speed-wise, he's on another level. I'll go Corbin Carroll. I regret it.
Okay, so you went Julio, Riley, and Corbin.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Jackson Merrill, I'm sorry, dude.
Brutal.
Sorry that I'm going to have you as my utility player. Yes. Don't. Hey, by the way, he was a shortstop until last year. I can put this guy in the infield if I want. I can do whatever I want with him.
Padres might. Who knows?
Jackson Merrill, welcome to my team as the utility player.
Great.
Could you be a defensive replacement out there for Juan Soto? Yeah, you can. Can you go play, shortstop if I need you to in a pinch? Yeah, you can. Jackson, you're my guy. I talked about I don't like the word swag too much, but like this guy, for some reason I was out at Petco like a lot at the end of last year.
Yeah.
And so I called the game there, brought my youth team there. I was there and I was focused on him, man. And I didn't mean to be. I didn't like have a reason to be like the magnetic pull of Jackson Merrill brought me in. So I am happy that I got him on my team. I think he is a stud. I think, again, him and Mark Vientos found that next step, and I think they're going to be better for it this year. I think they're gonna. I mean, it's hard. It's gonna be hard for them, for especially Jackson Merrill, to put up another year like he just put up, because people know he's coming now, I guess. And there's
Right.
gonna be a book and all these things. Sophomore slump's a real thing. Whatever it is, he's got the confidence though. He understands what it takes. I think he's on a team that um, just exudes confidence. And again, Nicky Punto, my guy, is there
Right.
now. If there's a hype man of all hype mans, it's Nicky Punto. Thank you for letting me have Jackson Merrill on my team.
500 slug out of Jackson Merrill doesn't make sense. And I'm happy for you. That worked out. I felt kind of dirty about Vientos. You get Jackson Merrill. What do you got missing, Coach?
I got third base, starting pitcher, and catcher. So I got to go one more. Go one more. I'll do this one real quick. Third base, I'm going Royce Lewis. I think he has the potential to be a top 10 player in baseball. He thinks differently. He is, I don't know why he's so strong. A little tidbit about Royce Lewis. He has like 7 different types of bats. Like makes the same make, but different models and different weights and different lengths. And depending on the pitcher, he goes and he's like, I think this one's going to be good for this guy. And he just goes up there and rakes. Please stay healthy. You're a guy, maybe some of the best potential of any player in the big leagues right now. Royce Lewis, you are my third baseman. Although I think they're thinking about making a move to second base for him, which I am against, for being honest.
A little big.
But for now, third baseman Royce Lewis, you're on my team.
Man, him and Vientos are going to be fun to track because I feel like their bats have that same like little extra pop that certain guys have and certain guys don't. Their barrel stays in the zone for so long that it's those two kind of pairing up age wise, and will they stay at third? I'm very interested to see the next steps for both of them.
Royce, he reminds me a little bit of Ryan Braun. I don't know if I said this on the show before. I
think
definitely said it on the broadcast.
And I was like, oh yeah, kinda.
The bat looks long.
Yes.
It looks really, really long for some reason, and I don't know. The leverage that they create is something special.
Great pick, Trev. I believe I have first base and second base remaining. That again, you took Vladdy with the first pick. That allowed me to wait on this guy. He's head and shoulders above what the other first basemen have done. We talked about him a lot. Literally head and shoulders. I'll take Tristan Casas, man. This guy's done.
Happy birthday, Tristan Casas.
Happy birthday, Tristan Casas. How do you like that? Dude, in 717 at bats, so, a little over a full season of a career, essentially. He's had an 830 OPS, man, 357 on base. Jumped on the moving train last season. Give this guy a full year at that ballpark and at any ballpark, and I think 40 could be in range. And again, first base kind of feels like it's in a weird spot right now. Some of the old guys are heading towards the door. Votto just retired. Goldie's on his final spots. I'm interested to see the next wave of first baseman, and I think Casas can lead the way there. And then at second base, everything you laid out about Bryce Terang, where the season numbers landed last year, even with how special his defense, makes me a little nervous. Sometimes we just don't have enough natitude here. And sometimes when guys have the same name, we tend to overlook them. I'll take Luis Garcia Jr. Switch hitting, bottom of the lineup. Give me 20 and 20. Yes, I'll take that out of my young second baseman. So that rounds out my squad.
Congrats, Coach. You put together a hell of a team.
Appreciate that.
I'm going to go quickly through this one. For catcher, I think there are some good players available, whether you're talking about the Troll, Francisco Alvarez, Patrick Bailey's a guy who I want to draft. I want to have him on my team, but I can't get over Gabby Moreno.
Okay.
The guy, he's a defensive catcher. I think he's got more potential in the bat as well. I think this guy, as he matures, gets some more at bats under his belt, a little bit more dirt on his spikes, I think we're going to see him turn into one of those guys that's a dual threat back there. So I am taking Gabby Moreno as my catcher, and I think this is the biggest pick of the draft. Who am I gonna pick as my starting pitcher?
Mm.
Because basically, you know, other positions are light. There's a lot of good pitchers on here. You took Paul Skeens with your first pick, and I think there's a couple guys I'm going to be deciding between. And as much as I want to put Yamamoto on my team,
Mm.
as much as I want to put Roki Sasaki on my team,
Mm.
like upper 90s heater with a splitter that's 92, that guys just don't see that in the big leagues anymore. I, I'm taking Crochet.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen it. I've just seen it with my own 2 eyes. It's some of the most electric stuff in all of baseball, and I think that now that he's settled on a team that cares, or not, that I guess did the White Sox care? I
Kinda.
don't know.
Kinda.
The Red Sox have World Series aspirations, and I think he's going to relish that opportunity to be, the ace there. A huge reason why they're going to, have this run at the postseason. I think it's going to up his game a little bit. His stuff is so good. The demeanor is so good. I think I had to go with him to round out my squad.
Yeah. I understand why. I think of the other names, like let's see where your guy Roki looks like. Like I think Hunter Green has a good argument.
Sneaky.
And the light bulb went on, and some of Crochet's numbers aren't as pretty as you'd think from last year. But again, White Sox, there was 1 or 2 blow-ups that throw everything off. Gonna be like he's gonna have the spotlight on him this year.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited for him.
Red Sox with a big offseason, and you're the guy. Like that's we're all kind of going to have a front row seat for this. Tanner Bybee gets overlooked always, our guy.
Always.
All right, let's Coach Trev, would you like to introduce your team? If you want to line up a fight, I'm open to it, but let's hear the fight in Ploufs.
Can we put it up on the board?
Boom.
There it is. Thanks. I knew that was going to happen. At catcher, Gabriel Moreno. First base, Vladito. Matt McClain and Ellie up the middle for me. Royce Lewis, my guy at third base. My outfield, I think I did a really, really good job. Tatis, Churio, and Soto. My util guy, Special, Jackson Merrill. And my starter, how many lefties you got on that team? Corbin Carroll, Gunnar Henderson.
You got some balance, okay?
You got some balance. Garrett Crochet is my starting pitcher.
It's a great squad, Trev. The Soto Vladdy. It's tough to.
We're the Castake truck drivers. That's the name of my team.
Okay.
An ode to my past.
Didn't need to name it, but you did. Around the horn for the fighting Strombolis. Yainer Diaz, little pop behind the dish. Tristan Casas, little pop at first. Luis Garcia, a little bit of everything, probably down in the lineup. That's fine. New nickname, Mark Vientos at third. Bobby Witt Jr. Might as well pencil him into the leadoff spot. Maybe even Riley Green right behind him. Julio in center, Corbin Carroll in right, Gunnar Henderson with the sneaky util grab. That's actually probably my 2-hole hitter. And then Paul Skeens, all world. Going up against that lineup. Hey, you've already commented how mad you are we skipped that player. But please comment. Let us know
Tell us who you think's going to win.
What was the worst pick of the draft? What was the best pick of the draft? Maybe we'll make the JM Gaming guys sim this one game for all the marbles. I'll just make them sim it until my team wins. And then we'll post that. Good news for baseball.
Sim in the sim? We can do that?
Oh, you could sim in the sim. There's a lot of good young baseball talent. Crazy some of the guys that get left off. That only means good things for the sport. God, can't wait for the social media graphic. That is going to get ripped up. Go Team Jake. What's your team name again?
The Castake truck drivers.
Cal Steak?
Castake. Jake sucks. It's where I grew up, bro.
Right.
Freaking read a book.
Right.
Castake Lake.
Trev, just to let you know, Paul Skeens or Juan Soto, 0 for 1 against Paul Skeens.
0 for 1 against Paul
Splinker.
Soto.
Splinker.
He did it on purpose. He's setting them up.
Next step back. There's a next.